All right. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our Instagram live here at the Chocolate House. Bear with me if I mess this Instagram video up a lot because I've never done a live before. But I'm going to just kind of introduce you to our store from the outside in. So there's our entrance. We are closed to retail traffic. And here's the store. So we are a retail collection of chocolate from all around the world. We're a small boutique. We've been here over 10 years. Shout out to original owners Biagio and second owner Robert for helping getting this going. So our mission is to try and educate and celebrate artisan and fine chocolate from around the world from as many different makers as possible. We do have a lot of American makers. We have some wonderful local makers right here. And we do also, of course, have a really beautiful case of bonbons where we showcase bonbons from all over the world. And one thing we really try to get people to think about is to start considering chocolate as a food versus a candy. It's really important for us as we get into trying to elevate chocolate and sell more chocolate as makers and as retailers, and trying to bring everything back to farmer, that we're focused on getting people to understand the value of chocolate in a different way. So the value of a candy bar obviously is like $1 or less, and the value of a chocolate bar, a fine chocolate bar, is a lot more. So that's something we talk about a lot here. And a main way we do that is through our tasting classes. And so today, right now, we're going to talk a little bit about the way we do our tasting classes and a blind tasting, and the way you can do your tasting class at home in a blind tasting during this time where you're at home, hopefully, or far from people. So bear with me as we go into our back room. So this is our back event space. If you've been to one of our classes, you might know it. We have some Easter stuff getting ready to go, yoga mat for yoga when we need to stretch back here. So, and this is our class setup where we have our big map where we can talk about growing regions. We can kind of show a lot of great visuals. We do our tastings back here. And we also do our chocolate making classes back here, but with a lot more equipment. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about the blind tasting and why we do it and why I think it's important. A lot of times, like from a retailer's perspective, we see people who have come in and have a really preconceived notion of what they already like in chocolate. Maybe they know they really like 70%, or they know they only like 80%, and they don't really want to deviate from that. Or, you know, they have things where they just like hate white chocolate. They'll just never ever eat white chocolate, or whatever it is. So the blind tasting is a really good way for people to taste things that they normally wouldn't taste, especially in our classes, because you have to taste it because I put it on your plate because you came to our class. So you don't really have a choice. You can't come in and be like, I don't want to taste X percentage or X origin or X manufacturing style. So it wipes that all away. And since you don't know what it is before you're tasting, you're kind of a blank slate to enjoy or not. It's fine. I always tell people in our classes, it's totally fine if you don't like it. You're not required to like things that you're not required to like or to dislike things if I don't like it, anything like that. Your taste buds are your own, and people cultivate their kind of flavors and tastes in different ways. So that's why I think it's important. It's especially important if you want to get better at flavor development, and tasting more nuances in chocolate and in food in general. If you're kind of into wine or whiskey or things like that, this is a great way to get better at doing that. The more you taste, and the more you allow yourself to taste without really kind of making decisions on whether you like it or not, is going to help you kind of get deeper. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how we've set up our blind tasting, and how, if you want to set up a blind tasting at home, how we'll have you do it. So it's important to find a place that's pretty peaceful. So hi everybody. I'm going to try to wave at everybody really quickly who waved at me. I'm still, I'm learning here. We're all learning. So it's really important to find a place that's peaceful and kind of quiet and not maybe in the middle of like a bunch of puppies, which is awesome normally, but not for chocolate tasting, or maybe like a large number of kids coming around. So just find something. I mean, and obviously kids enjoy this a lot. So if you have kids that are at the right age who want to taste chocolate with you, I highly recommend it. We've had kids in our class that really enjoyed it. So find a place that's peaceful, find a place that's quiet, get everything set up. So in our case, we're going to have you set, let me switch this over again. We're going to have you set in your chocolate up on a little tasting mat, which we will provide. So just a quick look, this is the way your chocolate will come to you very mysteriously. Although if you're familiar with some chocolate brands, you might be able to suss out some makers. Also, our online store right now, just as a quick question that someone asked me, does not reflect our entire stock. We have a lot of individual bars, and it's been a challenge to upload everything to the website super quickly. But we're on it. If you are looking for a specific bar, just email us. You can also call us. We're here during the afternoon every day, even though we're not open. And we can kind of help you find that bar if you want it. But okay, so your chocolate will get to you like this. We will have you set it up like this using your number codes. You'll see here that there are numbers under each circle. I'm gonna eat this chocolate, so it's okay that my hand touched it. I never, like, everybody's sensitive about hands. I am too, but everything's clean. You're gonna get a chocolate sensory wheel. This is from Calibo chocolate. It's a great way to kind of think about aroma, taste, and mouthfeel. So lots of flavors there. This is kind of a guide that we've set up for the blind tasting. It's pretty detailed, as you can see, but you're obviously welcome to set it up. I won't be there to check on you, but it kind of gives you a good, all the things I'm saying here, and just some extra information on tasting. One other thing that we have people do, that we're asking people to do, obviously super optional, is to put out some spices, some herbs, like coffee, maybe loose tea, and smell those items before you start tasting. We do this in our tasting class, and it's a really great exercise for people. So, for instance, let me turn this around again. When we have people taste coffee grounds, they might taste roasted, they might taste nutty, they might get down obviously into roasted coffee. Most people can pick up on the coffee notes pretty quickly with the coffee. But for other things, when we taste like a loose tea, which I love to have people smell loose tea. They get a lot of different flavors, sometimes jasmine or rose or lavender, sometimes grassy, things like that. So being able to smell some items before you start tasting is also a really, really wonderful way to prime your senses for tasting and get a better idea of aroma and things like that. So once you've done your smelling and you've set everything up, we also, for the blind tasting, what I want you to do, obviously optional, what I want, it's not that important, it's what you want and what you enjoy, but a great way to really get the most benefit from this is to get a journal or some scrap paper and just write down 3 to 5 things about chocolate that you know you already like. So you know that you like 70%, maybe you love Madagascan chocolate, or maybe you really only like European chocolate. That's something we also hear a lot. People come in and they're like, I really only like Belgian chocolate, or I really only like Swiss chocolate. These things are valid, obviously, but it's good to know kind of where you're at so that when you do this tasting, you can come back and compare and contrast. So just take a few minutes before your blind tasting, write down what you already know you like, or what you think your like hard nose might be. So you're like, I hate white chocolate. That's honestly one of the most common things we get in our tasting class, is that people come in, we ask them about chocolate, and they say they hate white chocolate. They are going to eat white chocolate in our class, so I take it as a challenge. So do that little journaling exercise. It's also like fun and calming. I know everybody right now, chocolate is a great way to calm your anxiety during times like right now, but also journaling. And journaling about chocolate is fun if you don't feel like journaling about your feelings, which I know I don't sometimes because they're complicated and scary. Just a little aside there. So you've done your smelling exercises, you've set your chocolate up, you've journaled about your previous chocolate likes and dislikes. So it's finally time to start tasting. There are procedures that are great to use when you're tasting chocolate. They're helpful. And so you'll also get this handy dandy sheet. I guess I can just switch the camera around. All right, that's my secondary camera guy, Beige, behind me. That you'll see his elbow from time to time. So we have this chocolate grading sheet that we use in our classes. Hi, Barb. It has you kind of look about the color and appearance of chocolate, looking to see if it's in temper, snapping the chocolate, smelling the chocolate. Very important. I want you to smell everything, like smell it like your life depended on it. Thanks, Ben. And the tasting portion. I know sometimes in my class, at this point, people are just itching to taste chocolate, and it feels like I'm just getting into the minutia of everything, and all they want to do is put some chocolate in their mouth. So, and then I just tell them in details about how to taste it. But the main thing is to not chew too much. Try to just let the chocolate melt. And this is a really good way to practice mindfulness as well in chocolate and in food too, is to really chew slowly or don't chew at all in terms of chocolate, that you don't have to chew. Let it melt. Think about it as it melts, and try to kind of write what you're tasting and smelling and feeling as you do it. So in our classes, it can be kind of awkward when you're in a class with 9 other people that you don't know, and suddenly I'm like, what do you feel? That's not what they signed up for. But I do kind of encourage like a stream of consciousness as you taste the chocolate, not in like such a heavy existential way, but just in like I like it, I don't like it, this is what I'm feeling now, like the beginning, the middle, the end, stuff like that. So write everything, even if you don't think that's right. Sometimes you'll really hung up on like, is it prune or is it mushroom or something like that? It doesn't matter. Write it, go through it. You can always come back later and taste it again and see if that went through. But as you'll see on our sheet, we also have kind of notes on the beginning, the middle, the finish, the texture, and the overall rating, which we get a lot of questions about. It's your overall rating. It's your 1 to 10, not like what you think like the chocolate world thinks is best, but just you. Do you like it? Do you hate it? It's fine. It's up to you. You have to eat this stuff, not anyone else. So it's up to you to enjoy it and find what you like. So as you go through the tasting, you'll be getting into your darkest to lightest. We try to have 100% all the way to white chocolate each time. And we jump percentages a little by little, and we also try to vary origin. So bean origin, manufacturer origin, American, European, in-country, manufacturing style, dark milk, regular milk, all of that stuff. So we try to really do a little bit of that. I don't know if anyone can identify anything. Props to anyone who identifies molds in here. I'll know that you eat a lot of chocolate, which is great. So once you finish your chocolate tasting, and just another note, during your chocolate tasting, feel free to drink some water, have some sparkling water, some crackers on hand. Don't drink any coffee or spicy foods while you're eating chocolate, because that will kind of affect your taste. But yeah, so as you finish your tasting, go back to your journal. Use your journal that you used at the beginning, and also use the notes that you made on this sheet here, and compare and contrast about what you liked, what you didn't like. Just go check really quickly. Sorry. Someone just walked into our store, obviously, during this time. It's real life, guys. Where were we? Oh, yeah. So go back to your journal. That's our landlord, so it's okay. go back to your journal and go back to your notes that you just took on the chocolate you just tasted. Go ahead and see, were there any differences? Obviously, were there differences? Were there surprises? Were there things that you didn't expect? Did you not think you were going to like a 100%, but you actually didn't hate it, which is our most common. It's not people are like, I love 100%. They're like, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, which is fine. That's a great place to start, even if you never move past that, even if you just kind of learn to appreciate 100%s for what they are. That's a good place to be. That's where we want people to be in chocolate. We just want you to kind of get a range of appreciation for things. So go back to your journal, make some notes, see where you landed on some chocolates and if there's any changes. Obviously, there's no right answer. If there's no changes and you just love what you love, that's fine too. Good. That's good. So as I said before, I really feel like blind tastings are one of the best ways to really dig into what your preferences are in chocolate, and also get better at tasting kind of subtle notes and things like that. I'm gonna just let's see if I can. Let me move this around. So you have your wheel, you have your chocolate, and then at the end, after you looked at you won't have your chocolate because you finished tasting it. So at the end, you will have this, which we'll say do not open until you have completed tasting. It'll be sealed too, so you know it's like an Oscars package. After all that, you can open it, go through, and see this is just an example of things that we've tasted in the past. But you'll see where you landed, what you liked. Obviously, you'll need to do this before you journal. I didn't mention that. Got a little distracted with our landlord walking in. But this page here will give you all the reference you need for what percentages were, what makers were, what flavors were, things like that. So all of this we've put together really quickly into a tasting kit that you can buy on our website. We will change the link in our bio pretty quickly, or find a way to get you to it. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. That will link to this kit that you can buy. It's not real fancy, but it does have everything you need for the tasting. So it's got your chocolate, it has the wheel, which is from Calibo. Again, it's a really great resource. They have some other great resources on tasting on their website, so if you're looking for something, definitely check them out. You'll have our chocolate grading sheet and kind of our little worksheet. It's fairly similar. If you've done other chocolate worksheets, feel free to use anything that you have on hand if you like something that you use better. Ours is pretty simple. It's for people who aren't getting into too many weeds of chocolate. And then it'll have your sheet that has the chocolate answers, and obviously it will have your chocolate. And like I said, you won't know what it is until the end. So I have a few minutes here. I don't know if anybody has any questions who is on here now. It looks like there's about 21 people. That's great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. But yeah. Any questions? Okay. So just a few more things. I hope everybody during this time is taking some time to eat chocolate and eat other foods that help them relax. I know this is kind of off topic, but I was thinking about this morning. I've been eating a lot of toast every day, which is kind of random, but toast is really comforting, like cinnamon toast, like things you had as a kid. So I just really, from a food perspective, because I love food, food history and the way people kind of relate to food and food relationships, I think it's important to eat foods that make you feel good, and take care of yourself in that way. Don't feel too crazy about I shouldn't be eating toast at midnight. I shouldn't eat 7 slices of toast in a day. Listen, it's fine. Eat all the toast that you want. Okay, so I have some questions. What's your favorite type of chocolate? This is a really common question. I have really branched out. I go through phases where I'm really into white chocolate. I went through a really big white chocolate phase. We have a Charm School white chocolate that we just got in. That's the coconut milk. It's very, very good. Dark milk is also a really great thing that's been happening a lot. We have a local maker, Ben from Potomac Chocolate, who was on this live a little bit ago. Has a 65% dark. That is fantastic. It's like one of the best dark milks. It's one of the ones that I enjoy a lot. One of the best ones that for me. I don't want to, not necessarily in the world. Also, I haven't eaten all the dark milks. If you know of any that I should eat, please send them my way. I'm always open to samples. Some other ones, some long-term favorites. I'm a big fan of Fruition's Bolivia, 74%, the Wild Bolivia. It's one of my favorite all-time bars. Dick Taylor's limited releases. They did a Vietnam, they did a Colombia. Breaks my heart when those guys go away, when the limiteds go away, because I really, really like them. I had a chance to taste Smooth Chocolators in Australia origin. There's an Australian company, and they had an Australia origin for like one hot second a couple years ago. That was an amazing bar. So there, I'm missing a ton of stuff. We taste things all the time that I love. So chocolates that we make for bonbons. So our bonbons come from all over. They come from different makers, local, non-local. Some of them use their own chocolate. Like Potomac uses its own chocolate. I know a lot of people use Valrhona, which obviously is wonderful couverture. So a lot of different options there. A lot of toast fans, which is great. Why do you prefer starting with the darkest bar? So for us, and for me personally, I go darkest to lightest, because if you start with a white chocolate, it can be really jarring when you get up to like even 70%. In our class, a lot of people have never tasted a 100%, and they will legit not make it to 100. Like, they'll hate it if we start them with the sweetest bar. So a lot of it has to do with perception of like sweetness. We really want people to taste sweetness as like in its truest form. We want you to taste the sugar as it comes. So we start with no sugar and then gradually move up, so you really get a sense. Large variety of bean to bar chocolates bars in stock. We sure do. We ordered a lot right before everybody shut down. So we have a lot of single origin chocolate, and we're working really hard to get everything on the website as fast as possible. But like I said, if you're looking for something, an origin or maker, or just something that, like, you're just like, I like this, what do you recommend? Feel free to let us know. We can get you hooked right up. I like Ben being like, Ben, your milk chocolate is legit, like maybe the best. Yeah, I just don't want to like malign any other dark milks out there. Okay, well, I think that's probably it on my end, unless everybody just wants to hear me kind of like wax poetically about toast and food and all of that. I love toast and I love chocolate, so those are great. Shout out to Asganosi Chocolate also for these wonderful t-shirts. If you guys are looking for a cool way to wear like chocolate support, they have these really cool support your local chocolate maker t-shirts, which we have one. We got some for our staff over the holidays. We also are going to start selling some merch too. So on the real, anything you can do to support local chocolate makers now, whether it's buying directly from them, which we encourage, buying from retailers like us, which we obviously also encourage, buying from confectioners, buying bonbons, just literally just eat chocolate for the next weeks. Just do it. Just eat a lot of chocolate. And buy gift cards, and also share things on social media. Your friends and family and acquaintances from high school are probably looking for ways to find some joy and delight during this time where they're all at home. And chocolate is a really good way to share some community. So I'm gonna sign off. Thank you guys for being here with me and for your questions and for helping me get through this, my first Instagram live video. And now I'll have the confidence to maybe do this more often. So let me know on Chocolate House profile if you think of any lives that you want us to do. We're all ears here. We're open to it. We have plenty of time. Yeah, so definitely eat your chocolate, get your rest, eat some toast, all of that stuff. And please stay well, stay safe, stay home. All right, bye guys. How do I end this? Okay, here it is.